Hi guys, it's Mrs. Tucker. I want you to take out your placemat problem that says punch bowl on it. And I'm going to get you started on this just enough so that you can finish the rest of this out on your own, okay? So let me read to you what it says. Your verbal representation says, Sarah Lee made 40 cups of punch to serve at a party. Each guest drinks 2 cups of punch. Create a table, a graph, and equation to represent how much punch is left in the punch bowl. Okay, I've made the punch. Nobody has showed up to the party yet. How many cups of punch are in the punch bowl? 40 cups. My first guest arrives. They drink their 2 cups of punch. How much punch is left in the punch bowl? Subtract 2 and you get 38. My second guest shows up. They drink their 2 cups, and how many cups of punch is left in the punch bowl? Yeah, 36. So you guys see what's happening here. We're subtracting 2 each time. So I'm going to pause the video here to let you guys finish filling out that column. All right, does your column look like my column? It started off at 40 and it reduced by 2 cups with each guest all the way down. Once my 10th guest shows up, I have 20 cups of punch left in the bowl. I might have more guests than 10, but that's as far as my table goes up. Okay, so the thing that I notice in my table is as my number of guests increases by 1, what's happening to the cups of punch that's left in the punch bowl? It's going down by 2 each time, isn't it? Yeah. The number of cups of punch remaining in the bowl decreases by 2 each time. Well, I need to know that because I need to write my process, which is also known as the rule. And the rule isn't subtract 2 each time. I want to know, what are you doing to this number to change it into that number? What are you doing to 4 to change it into 32? And if you guys will make sure that your x values are increasing by 1 each time, you have a huge hint right here. That minus 2 is going to show up in your process. Okay? Well, if I get down to 4 guests, I have subtracted 2 how many times? I have subtracted 2 how many times? 4 times. If I take negative 2 times 4, I get negative 8, but that's not the answer. The answer is 32. Why is the answer 32 and not negative 8? Does anybody know why? It's because I started off with 40 cups in the punch bowl. If I put 40 here in the beginning, right here, and then subtract 8, what do I get? Yeah, I get the 32. So you started off with 40 cups in the punch bowl, and you removed 4 groups of the negative 2, the minus 2 cups. So it's minus 2, minus 2 times, not 8, minus 2 times 4. So 2 times 4 is 8. If you take 40 and subtract 8, you get 32. I'm thinking that's our process. Does it work all the time? Let's try it right here. What if I take 40, which was my starting point, and I subtract 2, let's see, I have removed 2 groups of negative 2, that's 4. So 40 subtract 2 times 2, which is 4, that gives me 36, and that gives me my answer here. So now you guys know what the process is. I want you to fill out this process column, and I will pause the video. Okay?
We are invading your learning.
Okay, so did your process or rule column look like mine? I start off with 40 cups. I'm removing 2 cups with each additional guest. So if I have one guest and they drink 2 cups, 40 subtract 2 is the 38. If I have 2 guests and they drink 2 cups, that's 4 cups. 40 subtract 4 is the 36. And it works all the way down the line. When I get down to 10 guests, each of those 10 guests drank 2 cups. That's 20 cups gone from the punch bowl. I started off with 40. 40 subtract 20 is the 20 right here. You know, if you can get your process done, that's probably the hardest thing on this whole placemat problem. And I want to tell you that once you have your process done, your equation drops out of it. Your equation will drop out of this because I notice in my process, the 40 never changes. It's always the same. And my subtraction right here never changes. It's always the same. And this 2 right here never changes. It's always the same. And the equal sign right here never changes. It's always the same. Those 4 pieces will show up in your equation because they never change. What's the things in the process that's changing? I see these numbers changing. What are those numbers? I heard somebody whisper it. Reggie says it's the number of guests. That's right. That number right there is your number of guests. That's always changing. That's one of our variables. Number of guests is one of our variables. And I'm going to graph it on the which axis. I gave you guys a hint here. It's going to graph on which axis? Yeah, the X. We'll talk about that in a minute. And the other thing that's changing is what? The cups of punch in the bowl. That's our other variable. That's our other set of numbers that's changing. And I gave you a little hint. It's going to graph on which axis? Yeah, the y-axis. So I hope I gave you guys enough of a hint there where you can write the equation down in this section here. You're going to do that on your own. Okay. Up until this point, when we've graphed, I always had a little hint for you right here that said the independent variable goes on the x-axis. And I had you another hint that said the dependent variable goes on the y-axis, and I didn't put it there anymore because I'm hoping by now you have that memorized. So let me ask you, does the number of guests that attend my party depend upon how much punch is left in the bowl? Or does how much punch that's left in the bowl depend upon how many people attended my party? Well, cups of punch in the bowl depends upon how many guests are at the party. So cups of punch goes right here. Cups of punch, and I would write it sideways if I could. Cups of punch left in the bowl goes here. Number of guests goes here. And don't forget to give me a title. All right, I'm going to pause the video here so you can write that down. Write down the title, and I want to know both labels for the x-axis and the y-axis. Okay, I titled mine Punch Bowl. Number of guests. You're going to start at 0, and I told you guys you have to increment each one of these lines by the same amount each time. Well, it's easy to go from 0 to 10 if you're just increasing by 1 each time. Increase of 1, increase of 1, increase of 1, increase of 1. That's easy. We have to, on our number of cups, go from 0 down here all the way up to a maximum number of what? What's our biggest number in this column right here? Yeah, I heard somebody say 40. Yeah, it's 40. We have to get to 40 there. So can I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Yeah, that's not going to work, is it? Can I go by twos? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I don't think that's going to work either. What should we go by? Could we go by 5s? Could each line increment by 5? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. We could do that. What do you want to do? I went by 5s. I kind of wished I had spread that out more. Maybe I could have done by 2.5 each time. I probably could have. All right? Now that you have your graph done, I want you to graph each set of points. Here's your x value. Ooh, I think I have a ghost in my room because my projector screen just went up all by itself. Yeah, that was scary. You know, tomorrow's Halloween, so we're all kind of freaked out right now. Thanks, Reggie. There's your x value, there's your y value. At an x value, when your x value is 0, your y value is what? It's 40. Your first dot shows up right there. When your x value is 1, your y value is what? 38. That's about right there. And when you're done, let's talk about whether you connect the dots or not. Don't connect the dots until we talk about it, okay? Sometimes you connect the dots and sometimes you don't. All right? This is where I'm going to end the video because I want you guys to do the rest on your own. Good luck!